Have you ever wondered about the bones of a story? What did the outline look like before the characters hijacked it? Ophelia Kee always wondered the same things about her own stories. As a discovery writer, the chaotic pantser style, not even the author knew how the tales in the Draoithe Saga would go until they went backward, analyzing one story while busy writing the next tale or two somehow never happened. Apparently, OK put things off long enough, and some fancy computer magic will provide us with those long-wished-for story overviews. We can finally X-ray the tales from the dream and see their skeletons. Shall we investigate the next story in the dream?
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a question. What if your soulmate was a 285-year-old vampire, and you were the only one who could save the world? That's pretty much the core of Ophelia Kee's Kiss Dark, and today we're going to break down this awesome paranormal romance. And that tagline, right there, it tells you everything you need to know. This is not your typical love story. We're talking about an attraction so primal, so immediate, it just skips right past romance and goes straight for the soul. So come on, let's pull back the curtain and explore the world of Kiss Dark. Now, Kiss Dark isn't a standalone story. Not at all. To really get it, you need to understand that it's one piece of a much bigger, much more magical, and way more dangerous universe called the Draoithe Saga. Okay, so the Draoithe Saga is set in this parallel reality called the Dream. And get this, every single creature of myth and legend you've ever heard of, they're all real there. But the world's magic is going haywire, it's fading, and these ancient prophecies are starting to come true. It's a universe where any romance could be the one that either saves everything or destroys it all. So what's causing all this chaos? Well, it all goes back to a super powerful chaos spell created from a king's grief about 1,000 years ago. And that king's name? Oh yeah, it's Lucifer. And this isn't just some old story from a history book. No way. This spell is an active, magical prophecy. You gotta think of it like a living, breathing force that's been pulling the strings and forcing people's hands for nearly 1,000 years. For this prophecy to work and restore balance to the dream, 4 very specific, very different people have to come together. And Kiss Dark drops us right into the middle of part 1 of this magical to-do list, which is all about finding the last lunar magus, a magic user whose power is directly tied to the moon. So, who are the people caught in the middle of all this ancient magical drama? Let's meet the 2 people at the absolute center of it all. And this is where the story gets really good. On one side, you have this immortal vampire who has literally seen it all, done it all, and he is just crushingly bored with existence. And on the other side, you've got a young woman with the weight of an ancient prophecy and pretty much the fate of the entire world sitting squarely on her shoulders. Leland is such a fascinating paradox. I mean, for him, after almost 300 years, being immortal isn't a gift. It's a prison of pure monotony. He's this apex predator who's so bored he runs a solar energy company, for the irony. He's not just looking for a distraction. He's fighting something called the Fade, which is this existential apathy that's threatening to just erase him. And then you have Evelyn, and wow, is she under a ton of pressure. She's not just running from a bad breakup and some creepy stalker. She's running towards a destiny that she absolutely cannot escape. If she fails, her whole magical lineage just ends with her. She's this amazing mix of being vulnerable, but also having this deep, untapped strength, and that's what makes her so relatable. So you've got these 2 people, right? Both are completely on the edge. Both are totally desperate for something to save them. You just know that when their paths finally cross, it's going to be explosive. And where do these 2 massive destinies collide? You'd think it'd be some mystical forest or an ancient castle, right? Nope. It happens in a sterile corporate office in a Chicago skyscraper. I mean, the contrast is just fantastic. For Evelyn, walking into that office, this is everything. It is not just a job interview, it's a lifeline. It's her one shot at finding the stability and safety she desperately needs to fulfill her destiny. But for Leland, this interview is a complete shock to his system. He's not just meeting a potential employee. The moment she walks in, he's hit with this primal hunger he thought he had completely under control. And for her, she's meeting someone who just radiates this power that's both terrifying and completely irresistible. Leland is so desperate to keep her close, for reasons he doesn't even fully understand himself, that he makes her an offer that's impossible to refuse. We're talking $80,000 a year, a furnished corporate apartment, plus a $10,000 signing bonus. It's a move that's both strategic and deeply impulsive, and it locks them together. Okay, but let's be real. With this much magical and chemical attraction flying around the office, a professional relationship was never going to cut it. It was really only a matter of time before things got complicated. And here we go. This is where it all ignites. Picture this. Leland is in the executive gym, shirtless, sweaty, and swinging a massive medieval sword around. Yeah, not your typical Tuesday at the office. And Evelyn, she follows this intoxicating scent down the hall and finds Leland in this moment of just raw, unguarded power. It's a sight that confirms all the dangerous, irresistible feelings she's been trying so hard to ignore. Their attraction is so powerful, it literally changes the air around them. It creates this magical aphrodisiac called Moonlit Dark Rose that's just impossible to resist. At this point, there is absolutely no turning back for either of them. And in that one kiss, everything changes. All the rules they'd set, all the promises he'd made to himself, all the carefully constructed walls just come crashing down. But then, the real world comes crashing back in. They're both in total shock, and in a moment of pure panic, they agree to just pretend it never happened. But seriously, how can you forget something that felt more real than anything else in your life? And that right there, that's the question that just hangs over the rest of their story. How do you move on from a moment that changed everything? Kiss Dark is all about that collision of fate and free will, of ancient prophecies and modern love. And it will leave you wondering, what would you do if your destiny was also your most dangerous desire?
I sincerely hope you enjoyed this view of a story skeleton, glimpsing the characters, setting, and plot structure along with the twists within the writing in this tale from the Draoithe Saga by Ophelia Kee. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more original stories and audio adventures. A special thank you to OK Music Writers for writing and for sharing the Enter the Dream soundtrack. It's more than a story, it's an experience. Welcome to the dream.